I hope your week's been going okay. I got a trash can down here bugging me. Life in a short space, right? Small space, actually. Well, it's short, too. Anyways, today we're going to talk about supporters and maybe give you some healthcare tips. The first off, supporters are real important. Everybody has them, whether they're good or bad. It's best to have the good ones stick around and kind of kick the bad ones to the curb, but we'll work on that later. Supporters are friends, family, peers, like at work, school, whatever, online, offline, doctors, psychiatrists, therapists, anybody of that nature. They support you in whatever needs you need supported in, and whatever their criteria is, such as doctors support you in your health care, therapists support you in your mental health care, and friends support you hopefully by just being friends, being there for you when they need you or you need them. Excuse me. The best qualities, the best things you can do with your supporters is to set up some kind of system for when you're breaking down. People that will support you when things are getting rough. Like, I have a list where my key supporters are my other half. He supports me by making sure I take my medication when I need to, driving me to appointments, making sure that I keep my appointments, making sure that I am doing what I need to do to stay well. And I have a few key friends who they're mostly there just to listen. A true supporter, especially when you're having trouble and you need to talk, a true supporter won't give you advice. That's for your therapist and your doctors and them people. A friend just listens, actively listens. Like, they don't just sit there and look at you dull-eyed and nod their head. It's okay for them to ask questions, but not give advice. I mean, they can in some extent, they can say, well, I've had this experience and I've done it this way. But for the most part, when we're starting to break down, starting to get symptomatic of whatever our issues are, when a friend or a family member comes up to you and gives you advice, it usually doesn't work. You usually end up getting the opposite effect. So it's best that they just listen. And I mean actively, It's best to get ones that, people that you want to talk to, make sure that they understand and that they will actually actively listen to you. Like I said, not just sit there and look at you dull-eyed, like, everything's going over their head and they're actually not really there. I have a couple of friends that I can do that with. Then I have others where when I'm starting to break down, one of my key symptoms when I start to break down is I start to really slack off on the housework and other duties. and they will actually come in and take over for me for a while until I get back up on my feet again. And it's always good to have, like I said, a list. And we have one in here where it's towards the back, I believe. I knew I wasn't going to do this, but I ended up doing it. They have all their things in the back here. So these are all their you know, all the things you got, like lists and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll find it for next time. So you have your one person can like make sure they can call you to remind you to take your medications if you're starting to break down and feel like, like for me, when, like I said, my housework and other duties start to slack off because I can't get out of bed. I stop taking my medication. There are times where I'll sleep for 12 hours, then I'll turn around and not sleep for like 48 hours. My supporters will come in and say, hey, what's up? You need to start getting some sleep on regular. You need to start taking your medications. You need to, and they'll take over my housework for me. It's always good to have people that will support you in those ways. And your doctor is another good supporter because, like I said, they take care of your health care. So they will help you keep track of your medications. You can also get a social worker. I know that sounds terrible. Some people, they hear the term social worker and they have all these visions of, welfare and all this, that, and the other thing, when actually social workers are all over the place. I have one through my insurance. They gave me a social worker. My doctor's clinic has referred me to, assigned me to a social worker there. And that's their job, is to make sure that I'm keeping up with my needs to stay healthy. And, that's always a good thing to have. When it comes to your doctor, the best thing to do when you go to your doctor, these are things that I keep in my purse at all times anyways, and that's a list of my medications, and not just a list of my medications, but like I take meds in the morning, I take them in the evening, I take one that I only take once a week, so I will write down what I take in the morning. I'll write down AM meds with the list, PM meds with the list, and then I'll have the one medication, and then I'll write on, Fridays only. If you have questions, it's always good to write them down. So, in case you're like me, I get to the doctor and boom, not there. Anything I had in my brain when I walked in just kind of flies out the window. So, any questions I have, I'll forget. So, it's always good to have a list of questions. It's always good to, especially on your first visit, it's good to take a list of your family history that may or may not be pertinent to whatever you're going in for. Like, say, I need to go to the doctor because I'm having headaches. Okay, when I go to the doctor, I need to let him know aneurysms are in my family. My father and two sisters have both had them. So I need to make sure that the doctor knows that piece of my history. And also a list of any symptoms you may be having at the time. Like, I'm forgetting my medications. I'm feeling really depressed. I'm having headaches. I'm having tired. I can't sleep. All these things, they're really important to take into your doctor so they know how to take care of you. And it's the same with a psychiatrist or therapist. You need to let them know all this stuff too, especially if your psychiatrist is being your med provider. They also need to know what medicines you may be allergic to, what medicines you cannot take. I have a whole list, believe me. So that's going to be it for today. Remember to make a list of your supporters and write down what you think would be good for them to do, and give them copies and talk to them about it first. You know, you don't want to say, oh, here, you're my supporter, I want you to do my dishes while I'm depressed. No, you need to ask them if they're willing to do it first. It's always nice to just, sit down with them, have coffee, and say, well, this is what I'm working on, and this is what I want to do, and see their take on it. But I'm going to try and keep these short. So, that'll be it for today. I'll see you next week. Bye.